It will mute us when we start. Hello, gorgeous, beautiful, divine, intuitive beings. It's Tiffany here. And today I've got the wonderful, and I really mean it, the wonderful Alexandra Wenman, who's been such a light in my life since I have been on the path. Well, I was on the path for a while before then, but it just feels like I've known Al for ages, because I have. We've known each other how long?
A long time, honey, I think. Oh, gosh, quite a long time. I would think must be going on about 10 years now, is it?
At least 10 years, because you were reviewing my retreats in Cornwall for Prediction Magazine, I think, back in 2010.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're on the other side of a decade. I think we're into our second decade. So welcome, beautiful divine intuitives. Like I said, I've known Al for a long time, and Al is going to be one of the speakers for the first ever Raising Awareness for International Intuitives, which is a movement to help intuitives that have been told that they're evil and not equal, or weird and not wonderful, or to be shamed rather than shine because our gifts aren't as valid as all the other ones, but they so are. This movement is about getting us recognized as like we have an Equality Act, right, which says that you can't discriminate against anyone for their way of being, but unfortunately we're such a minority, although I think we are the majority. It's just, still a minority on the waking up, that actually we're not even considered a minority. We're not even considered to be anything other than weird, wacky, or con artists, or things along those lines. If you get into a profession with it, God help you. So I thought it was time. I thought it was time to actually start something. It's amazing to see all these movements popping up. And it's like, actually, you know what? This one really is well needed. And I know Al has had an amazing journey as an intuitive, which I'm sure she will tell you all about on Tuesday. And you're after me on Tuesday, aren't you? So your talk is at 11:30, isn't it?
That's right, straight after you, Tiff.
Straight.
Carving the path. You're the prow of the ship.
Indeed, and that feels right as well, because you are, out of all the speakers that are there, you are the one that I have known the longest, and that's why I find it quite hard to know really how to introduce you, because I've seen you go through so much as an intuitive that has always been professional with it, but has always put your spiritual calling first, even if that means that you've been stripped, right down to the whatever you want to say. I don't know, but I've seen you go through the journey of baptism over and over and over again, baptism of fire. And I know that you are an author, a channel, a poet, an angel expert. So I really see you as encompassing or holding the torch, as you've just said, for such a huge energy that I really don't know what words to use to introduce you. So in your own words, what would you introduce yourself as to the lovely, beautiful peeps that are here. Please say hello if you're here joining us. And if you have any
Hi,
questions for
everyone.
Al while she's live, put them in. All right. So, yeah, over to you, Al. Sorry, that was my alarm.
I love it. Hello. I'm awake now. I guess in simplest terms, I'd call myself an alchemist. I've been using that term for a long time, even since I worked at Prediction magazine when I had my Archangel Alchemy column in the mag. And to me, I guess that's the only word that can really sum it up, because it's so multifaceted. And to me, it really is about being unafraid to be who we are, to be unafraid to explore our hidden depths, to look deeply within ourselves. And like you said, Tiff, you know, I've had experience of walking the long dark night of the soul numerous times. I love how you said the baptism of fire, because I've done the Archangel Fire Oracle, which is really a bit like having an alchemical journey, you know, through those transformative fires, though not everyone's going to have as intense a journey as I've had, I have to say, and I'm sure there are others who will resonate. But I love that you're doing this movement, because for quite a while I've also been on a bit of a mission to normalize the conversation about all spiritual topics, and to make it really acceptable just to be who we are. And you know, I know that I mean, I don't want to go too far into the story, but I was obviously bullied for being different. But to me, it kind of goes beyond that human element too. I think there's so much depth in this journey, that there's things that can happen to you that are downright weird and out there, and they're not openly spoken about in circles. And you're called a weirdo, or you know, you're just using your imagination, and your imagination is part of the key to accessing your intuition, by the way, and we'll talk about that on Tuesday. But you know, when you try to talk about your experiences, people telling you that you're making it up, or it's just a daydream or an imagination. You know, some of us, I've had experiences that are so out there that to try to articulate it and put it into words and get help for the parts that have actually caused trauma that aren't related to this particular life, or experiences in this particular life. Because I came in very open. I died at birth, and so I guess I had a very early near-death experience. And so as a result of that, I've always been able to see, and I see very clearly, very clairvoyant, very clairsentient, and didn't really know where to put all of this. You know, as a child, I felt so much and often took on other people's emotions as my own, and found that very overwhelming. So I think that this is one of the reasons why I set up a light worker and healer and empath support circle, which I run every Friday, first Friday of every month now, just to give people some support, because there's not many platforms. So it's getting better now, where we can talk about this stuff, where you can actually be open and talk about experiences. But I mean, I remember as a channel, when I first started channeling beings that I had never heard of, no one had ever spoken to me about the fact that there can be these beautiful galactic beings in spirit that can come through and give you high vibrational information. And when I started having those experiences and tried to talk to friends about it, I was shunned. So, you know, even though I've been through that, I don't really want to so much attach to it as part of my story, because as a result of that, also, I've had beautiful experiences and expansive experiences, and made incredible friends, and it goes on, and it's all part of the process, because I believe that, you know, it's a journey, but we already are there in many ways. I believe that every human being is really divinely perfect, and we hold a divine spark at our core, and we're often very hard on ourselves. And one of the biggest challenges is to come out of judgment, come out of judging yourself, but come out of judgment of each other. And one of the most intense circles you can be part of, where judgment really comes to the fore, is the spiritual circles. Even within our circles, you know, I've experienced bullying, and you know, you really have to walk your talk, and you really have to own your ability to discern who's going to be the best teacher for you, who's going to be the best person to hold your hand through these processes, and also to recognize, you know, when it's time to step out from under people. You know, someone can only be your teacher for so long. We have to be aware of putting people on pedestals and all kinds of things. This is an absolute minefield once you're kind of on this path. When you decide to lift the lid and delve within yourself, it's such a minefield. And I think that it's so important that this all becomes normal to talk about, normal to deal with, because it's now a huge part of the world of therapy and healing. And thankfully, for the likes of us, we now do have healing systems and practitioners that can look at some of these bigger picture ideas. So the way that my work had always started was through the angels, through the angelic kingdom, but specifically through the archangels. And I work a lot now with what I call archangel technology, angelic technology. And they speak to me a lot about bridging the worlds of spirituality and science. So there really isn't any difference between those two. I'm actually writing a book on the science of archangel healing at the moment, and the processes that I've channeled. And yeah, I mean, I guess that's where I am, but all of my work is about helping people to really access who they really are and to be empowered, to feel empowered, to be themselves, to speak their truth, and to live in integrity. And I put up a video recently about our industry, because I felt very disillusioned with the spiritual industry. I felt like, God, you know, I am out there, you know, promoting a product, but I'm promoting a product because I believe it can help people. But there's so much in this where you can get caught up in the, you know, broadcasting yourself and promoting yourself. And I kind of thought, well, this is all wonderful. And there's a part of me that loves that side of it too. But we have to really watch that we don't lose the point of it. And the point of it is to help people, and is to encourage people, and is to, you know, to do the work really at the end of the day. So anyway, I'm talking in roundabouts, and Tiff hasn't even got a word in edgeways.
Well, I've been listening intently, because, you know, the energy that you've been speaking with has been very powerful and calming and healing all at the same time. So I feel like I've just been in the receiving mode. And I don't know if anybody else has felt that. I can see that a few people are saying hello, but I can't see your names, because when you don't register with StreamYard, it doesn't tell me. And so if you do want to let us know, do put your name. And like I said, if you have any questions for Al, then please do put them in. We're going to stay live for about 4 more minutes. So if you have questions, get them in now. Al, whilst you were talking, it's Adele. Hello, Adele. Fab to hear you. See you there. So Adele's my birthday twin, by the way.
Oh.
And well, whilst you were talking, I was thinking, I so understand why you got the place on the tree that you did. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Place on the tree, or on your little picture?
Yes,
yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. And hello, Maria. Nice to see you here too. Hello, Lucy. Nice to see you. Oh, it's lovely to see so many people saying hello. As I said, please, you know, do ask Al anything you might want to ask her while she's here live for the next couple of minutes. I'm just going to flash up the picture that Al is talking about. And so you guys understand what I'm talking about a bit. I'm going to talk a bit about Al's place on the tree and how that actually feeds into what she's been saying quite a bit. So let me just pop the picture back up. So Al, do you know what this place is on the tree of life? I'm not massively an expert on the tree of life, not even a little bit. But do you know what that place is?
Oh, I think it's related to Zafkiel. Am I right? Is it Bina?
You're right. No, you're right. You are right.
So I know that I'm working currently on it feels like I do a lot of work with the love and wisdom aspect, and have done historically, but I really feel at the moment I'm coming into working with my power, and that to me is the dark feminine, the divine feminine.
Mm-hmm.
And I've actually done the card of Zafkiel on this deck, and it's all about connecting with that. If that's the pillar of severity, I don't know that much about the Kabbalah, but interestingly,
Yes.
the Tree of Life is it's one of the symbols I work with in Precious Wisdom.
Right.
But yeah, I feel like I am kind of holding that place at the moment. Tiff, you're not intuitive at all, are you, my darling?
Well, did you know I didn't even realize that I was doing the Tree of Life when I made this graphic? I didn't even realize. And so I just was putting people in places randomly, and then I looked at it at the end and went, oh. But yes, I'm just trying to find, this is David's book, and I think you should connect with David.
I think he Facebook friended me today, perhaps.
Did he? Yeah. I don't know if you've read his talk, but he had an angelic experience that was really big. Yeah. And he's written this book, which is pretty much about the Kabbalah. And yes, here we go. Chokmah. Or is it Chokmah? No, Bina. Understanding. And you are basically holding the place of the queen. And I love that, because there's so much grace and power that comes from it. And that's what you also have being a Libra, this grace and this service and this, what you said about being integral, you know, as well is incredibly important. So that's the place that you are holding for International Intuitives, is the place of that graceful understanding. And that really came across in how you were talking just now. So I just wanted to show you that, because it's fascinating how that's all working out. And Adele has something here. It couldn't be, could it? And Adele says that she doesn't have a question, but she totally agrees and says to her own clients or group that she's teaching, healing is a step on the path. The qualities of being of service are so often lost, yet it's such a huge honor to support and join people on their healing journey and spiritual explorations. And Adele, if you've not met Elle before, I think you'll really connect as well on that integral part. And of course, Justice is number 11 in the tarot, and Adele's 11, like 11th of August, and like I'm 11 of August. So yeah, I don't know if you're in the group yet, but yeah, do connect somehow. But if you're not in the group yet, it's International Intuitives Raising Awareness, and it's a pre-event for the actual Awareness Day, which is the 11th of the 11th. And so what it is there's 11 intuitive speakers you saw on the Tree of Life.
And we've known each other 11 years.
Oh my God. Yes. We've known each other 11 years. Amazing. Yeah, I love it. Wow. So do come across, because even if you can't see all the talks that day, you know, on Tuesday, I know Tuesday is a work day for a lot of people, you know, the 11 intuitive experts that I've got together, that are people that have, you know, I've been affected by on my path for the better, obviously. And so come across and join us, because it's the beginning of a whole new movement. As Al says, it's getting better. And still there's a heck of a long way to go. If you think of, I keep saying this, but Martin Luther King said, I had a dream in 1963. And it's only this year, the last year or so, that we've really started to understand the complexities of being racist, even when we think that we're not being racist. And there's so many people out there that don't think that they're intuitive, but they are intuitive, and actually not having awareness, as Al was saying, is an absolute minefield. And, you know, even when you are intuitive, I think you think that it's about one thing, but it actually takes you down this whole other rabbit hole that's very complex and confusing. And the intuitives that I have brought together understand that it's not all about let's develop our psychic skills. It's about let's understand what's really going on here.
It's the gateway to truth, isn't it, Tiff? It really is.
It
I think I
really
put in my
is.
thing, once you can really connect with your intuitive gifts and abilities, you can't really be lied to when you really learn to trust yourself.
And that's hard as well, isn't it? I find it a trigger when I'm lied to. I mean, truth is one of my values, and I have to work really hard. I know when I'm lied to because I get confused. Something confuses me, so that's my trigger, and it's like it's just not adding up. And before, I used to give my power away and be like subservient to it, and then I got to the place of being fiery about it and wanting to shoot people down. And now I'm in that place of, okay, I just have to allow people to be who they are and just, allow myself to know that I'm being lied to, and that's okay. It's enough for me to know that in myself and to have that wisdom and that knowledge. I don't know if that makes sense. We've gone over, but I'm quite interested to hear your answer on that.
I don't mind going over. I just want to say to Maria, yes, of course you're intuitive, and the fact that you're here means that you've been drawn here. Really, I think, yeah, and now I've gone blank, Tiff. Can you ask me your question again?
Yeah, sorry, it was a real ramble, wasn't it? But it's interesting that we brought Maria's in there as well, because I think everybody is intuitive, and I think we all know when we're being lied to, but there's so many other things going on, like our self-esteem or things like that make it complex.
You can tend to doubt yourself, can't you? Especially when you don't have any real tangible proof or reference points to attach it to. When all you've got to go on is somebody's word or somebody's actions, and then you're kind of thinking, well, something doesn't feel right. And I do this as well with spirit. If something doesn't feel right, or if there's a question mark over it, even if I don't know why that question mark is there, I've started to be a bit more firm in how I deal with it. So it will often be a not right now, or it's a no from me, until it's a firm yes, until it feels right on every level. It will be a no.
Yeah.
And it's really trusting your gut feeling, and also coming out of the mental. Your mind can be whirring around, but I think when you come into your body and feel into the body and really listen to the body, because even though I'm a clairvoyant, I've known for a long time that sometimes spirit can look right and it can sound right and it can be saying the right things, but there's a heck of a lot of false light stuff going on out there. And so being able to feel and really feel into your gut feeling, does this feel right? And is something off, or is something right? It's a really handy tool, and it's about trusting yourself. Really, that gut feeling is really important. I think, as humans, we're sentient beings, we're feeling beings before we're anything else. So it doesn't matter how clairvoyant, clairaudient somebody is. I mean, I'm a claircognizant, and sometimes I just know stuff, and I don't know how I know it, but I just direct channel. But it's always worth, if you're unsure, checking in with your feeling. And it's okay to question. It's okay to say, oh, hang on a minute. And I mean, the other thing I feel like I want to touch on is staying out of judgment, trying to stay out of judgment. It's a tough one to navigate when say you are being lied to, or you're being deceived, or you're being mistreated, to try to hold that person or that situation in love whilst standing in your power. That really is tricky, and I find myself in a situation like that now, and I went through a situation like that many years ago around Prediction Magazine, where it was like, whoa, I've been really badly mistreated. How do I hold love and forgiveness in my heart whilst standing in my power and saying, this isn't cool, this is not okay? It brought up a heck of a lot of terror from within me, because a lot of intuitives, and many of you watching will know that even if you didn't go through it yourself, but on a collective level, we've been persecuted. One of the biggest holocausts on this planet was against intuitives, was against healers, and most of those healers were women. And so really allowing and acknowledging that that happened begins the healing process, in much the same way that, you know, the Jews have had to deal with the persecution that they went through, and also now we have Black Lives Matter movement. I think the beginning of healing starts with listening and conversation and being unafraid to have the conversations. And so, Tiff, your courage in bringing all of this to the fore is fantastic and so needed. So yeah, I would say gut feeling first over everything.
It's funny, isn't it? Because I had one of those situations a couple of weeks ago where it felt like something was so right. And then after digging a little bit deeper, it was like, no, this isn't, there's something out of integrity here. And so I think that's the thing with intuition as well. It's like people can be like, or we can think like it's certain. It's like something feels good now, so that's okay. And then, but it's like, my husband always says, never tell your future self what to do. I've seen it change so much. You know, something can feel almost set in stone, and then the next day it doesn't. And if you try and go forward with it, then it's interesting. It's I don't really know what to say about it, but there is a lady.
We can lie to ourselves too, can't we? We can tell ourselves that something's good for us because we want it to be. And then we can almost overrule that gut feeling even within our own psyche. And then we need to go in and look at our ego programs as to whether or not this is good for us or not. It really takes a lot of courage, doesn't it, to own it?
Yeah, and you're going to be good at doing that because you are Justice in the tarot. And, that is all about being honest with ourselves and how we think we're honest with ourselves. And then it becomes clear that we're not being honest with ourselves, and that ever going derobing in a way, of getting to that place of integrity. So just tell us quickly. I've got a couple of comments here that I want to go through, and then if we just end with you letting us know a little bit about your talk. So I'll go to the comments first, and let me know how to join, says Adele. Okay, the link is in the post up here with the video. There's a link in it. If you click that link, that will mean that you can join International Intuitives. It's 11 intuitive experts all going live with you for 22 minutes on their story about how and when they knew they were intuitive, the challenges they've had, the gifts they've had, what they think you as an intuitive need to be aware of, and what they think the world needs to be aware of about intuitives, plus a little bit of sprinkling of their own magic. So it's a little bit of a challenge. I'm asking them to dive deep and bring all of that to you in 22 minutes. And it's one day. However, the group is open for a week. So it doesn't matter if you can't devote your whole day. It's there. Yes. So you can stay with us in the group for 1 week and just continue to kind of go deeper with the talks and the experts. And it's only £11. Get that? There's the 11. Again, as well, 50p goes to War Child and the rest goes back in the pot to get this message out there. So I'm just coming to the comments, and some lovely person that is just showing up on the screen as Facebook user. So I'm going to put it along the bottom so you know that I'm not being impersonal. Okay, and you can see what we see.
I think it was Lucy S. She says that was Lucy S, by the way. Is that?
Oh, thank you, Lucy. Okay, so Lucy says, oh, wow, light bulb moment with the lies and confusion. Thank you for the confirmation. Ding, ding. It happens to me too, applying too much logic rather than allowing yourself to believe in yourself. Fantastic. I'm so pleased you've had a light bulb moment, Lucy. That's brilliant. And I hope that we get to see you on Tuesday. Gosh, I'm loving bringing these beautiful intuitive experts to you every day. I'm doing a little tete-a-tete, shall we say, with one of the speakers, and I'm loving them because you're all so powerfully valuable. We all are, aren't we? We all have some amazing gift inside of us, and we're all at different levels of finding that or going to the next level of it, you know, and the next level. And so wow, I'm just feeling the energy, shall we say, of this day. And thank you so much, Al, for being part of it. So tell us a little bit about your talk. And before we hop off, I know you've got to go for dinner.
Oh no, I ate before we came on, so it's all good.
Did you? Okay.
I'm full bellied and sated. Well, I want to talk a little bit about on the angelic level. So I have a very different take on angels and what they are. And actually, my experience of angels is not that they are, that it's very much a, what's the word, like a paradox. Angels exist outside of us as loving guides, but they are also a part of our own consciousness. And so as part of my talk, I want to connect you to your own inner intuitive angels. And it really is about connecting to your qualities of love, wisdom, and power at that divine level. We're divine beings having a human existence and a human experience. And when you can really align the divinity within you, within your body consciousness, within your higher consciousness, your ability to really connect in with those deeper, higher aspects of yourself, then you can really bridge heaven into earth and choose your path, choose your timeline, choose, you know, how you want to walk on this earth. So we'll be going through, I feel like I'm never too sure, because I always tend to channel what comes through on the day, and it's usually specific for the group, very bespoke to the group. But I'd like to share some of my tips on my channeling checklist and how to really deepen into this embodied experience of being your most divine self, so that you can really trust yourself and feel empowered to live your best life possible, really. And I mean, that's not making any promises, because it, you know, it doesn't mean that it's like it's all going to be love and light and rainbows. We're not going to bypass anything, but it means that it doesn't matter what you're going through, that you'll always be able to anchor yourself into yourself, so that you can feel held and safe, and as though you have a safe reference point, a safe harbor within, because the world, our external world, is shifting and changing so much that we need to be our own inner backstop. We need to be our own inner support now. We need to be able to be our own proverbial tower. And I don't mean the tower in the tarot that's collapsing. I mean literally be our own strong pillar of light in amidst all of this. And yeah. So
it's fascinating you said the tower.
Yeah, because we're kind of in it, right?
No, yeah, and also I just created the tower card and used Osho as the guide for it. So it's got that very strong, don't be scared of everything you're going through, feel about it, which you were just talking about, but being that strong pillar of being able to see wide open with your eyes, your truth, the truth. And as I said, it just feels like that's everything you're holding on the tree, that understanding and that beauty and that grace, and being able to do it with integrity. So wow, I can't wait for your talk, Al, and it's been amazing to connect with you. Thank you for coming on live. I know you've been on a course all week as well, so you've really made an effort to be here with us, and I really appreciate it very much. All right, and thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Lovely to connect with you all.
Indeed. Thank you, everyone, for being here, and your comments and your love along the live. It's beautiful to know that me and Al could just chat all day, but it's really lovely to know that you're engaged as well. So thanks for that. Okay. And as I said, the link is in this post with the video. So just click it to come on over. All right. Lots and lots of love, everyone. Bye for now.
See you on Tuesday.
See ya.
Thank you.